What if the greatest secrets of energy, the lifeblood of existence itself, weren't discovered in laboratories, but remembered from temples carved into stone, whispered in the winds of forgotten deserts, and encoded in symbols older than history? Across the ruins of ancient civilizations, we find silent structures whose true purposes elude modern understanding. Pyramids aligned with celestial bodies, obelisks humming with electromagnetic resonance, sacred geometry etched with impossible precision. Were these merely monuments to kings and gods, or were they keys to a deeper technology, one that could control, harmonize, and channel energy itself? In this video, we journey beyond the veil of modern assumptions and into the lost world of subtle forces, where energy was not generated, but attuned, not consumed, but harmonized, where priests were scientists and temples were power stations, not of brute electricity, but of life force, frequency, and intention. We will explore how ancient civilizations, Egyptians, Vedic sages, the builders of Göbekli Tepe, and the forgotten engineers of Atlantis may have harnessed energy in ways we are only beginning to rediscover. We'll uncover why this knowledge was buried and how it may hold the key to our future evolution. What you're about to hear is not mere speculation. It is a remembrance, a rekindling of ancient memory long buried beneath sand, time, and disbelief. Stay with me. The energy is shifting. Long before the flicker of modern civilization, there existed a time when energy was not just a tool, it was a sacred element. Not electricity as we know it today, but prana, chi, akasha, subtle forces spoken of in every mystical tradition, from the Nile to the Himalayas. These weren't abstract ideas. They were the very threads from which reality was woven. In the heart of ancient Egypt, the priesthood of Heliopolis spoke of Sekhem, a divine power that permeated all living things. They understood that the pyramids weren't tombs, they were resonant chambers. The Great Pyramid of Giza, precisely aligned with magnetic north, is built atop geological fault lines, its interior chambers tuned to specific frequencies. Not coincidence, not superstition, but technology of a different kind. Meanwhile, in the East, Vedic seers described Vastu Shastra, the science of sacred architecture. Temples were designed not for worship alone, but to harness cosmic currents. Mantras, yantras, rituals, all tools to modulate energy and consciousness. Even the layout of ancient cities, like Dholavira, echoed the mandalas of the cosmos, cities as living organisms, vibrating in harmony with natural law. And further back still, in myth and memory, echoes the civilization of Atlantis. Plato tells us the Atlanteans possessed powers both in the soul and the body, a poetic veil over their mastery of energy manipulation. Legends speak of crystal grids, towers that drew power from the ether, and an understanding of vibrational science so advanced that the fall of Atlantis wasn't merely a disaster, it was a rupture in human memory. Across cultures, across time, we find the same archetype. Sacred structures built not just of stone, but of intention. Symbols that were more than decoration. They were diagrams of unseen forces, language encoded with frequency, music used not for art, but to shape matter. So why did this wisdom disappear? Or did it? Many say it was lost in fire and flood. Others claim it was hidden, concealed to protect it from the unworthy or from those who would use it for domination. And some believe it never vanished at all, that it survives, encrypted in esoteric texts, secret orders, and the very geometry of the earth itself, waiting to be reawakened. This is not merely a historical curiosity, it's a philosophical crossroad. Modern science and ancient wisdom are not enemies, they are estranged siblings. Both seek the same truth: how to master the energy that animates existence. And the ancients may have already found the answer. When we look not through the eyes of skepticism, but through the lens of wonder, we begin to see what they saw. That energy is not merely mechanical, it is spiritual, it is intelligent, it is alive. To truly understand how ancient civilizations controlled energy, we must first redefine what energy meant to them. In our modern world, energy is something external, burned, measured, converted. But to the ancients, energy was a bridge, a living interface between matter, consciousness, and the divine. Take the concept of resonance, not just as a physical vibration, but as a metaphysical principle. In Egypt, it was believed that certain words, chants, and even architectural forms could invoke resonance with higher dimensions. Temples were not places of passive worship, they were instruments. The walls, stones, and corridors acted like tuning forks for consciousness. When a priest intoned sacred phrases, the temple amplified them, not in volume, but in frequency. It wasn't about sound, it was about alignment. Now imagine this on a planetary scale. Megalithic sites such as Stonehenge, Teotihuacan, and Angkor Wat are all situated along the Earth's ley lines, the energetic veins of the planet. These sites form a global network, much like acupuncture points on a body. Coincidence? Or were these ancient structures deliberately placed to draw in, focus, and distribute subtle earth energies? Ancient Chinese geomancers knew this well. Feng Shui was not just about aesthetic placement. It was energy engineering. Buildings were oriented to harness the invisible flows of qi, influencing health, fortune, even fate. The land wasn't a backdrop. It was alive, conscious, and electric. And then there's the enigma of sound. Many ancient texts speak of technologies that worked through vibration and tone. In the Vedic scriptures, the universe itself is said to have been created through sound, Nada Brahma. Tibetan monks have long used overtone chanting to stimulate healing, and stories from Egypt and Mesopotamia speak of objects being levitated through sound. The lifting stones sang the text's hint. These weren't myths, they were metaphors, clues left behind in a language we've forgotten how to read. But there's more. Beneath the stones, behind the chants, encoded in the myths, lies a deeper understanding, one that turns our idea of technology on its head. Let us now pierce the veil further. When we think of technology, we often envision wires, machines, and silicon circuits. But the ancients had a different kind, consciousness-based technology. The instrument wasn't outside the body, it was the body, and more than that, it was the mind. This is the hidden paradox. To the ancient initiates, energy was not something you harnessed through tools alone. It was something you became attuned to through inner transformation. Consider the Djed Pillar of Egypt, often dismissed as symbolic of stability, but some esoteric scholars suggest it may have been more than a symbol. In Egyptian mystery schools, the Djed was awakened within the spine through rituals designed to raise the life force, what the yogis would call Kundalini. Energy, then, was not just physical, it was spiritual, serpentine, and intelligent. The human body, was seen as a temple, and the priest a living conductor of cosmic power. In this light, what if the legendary Atlantean power crystals were not mere objects of energy, but interfaces between consciousness and the field, a field modern quantum physicists might call the 0 point, the ether, or the unified field? We must also question, is the loss of this technology a result of ignorance or design? Ancient knowledge often came with initiatory barriers, guarded not with locks, but with wisdom tests. Only the purified of heart and intent could access the real teachings. And so, to the profane, the secrets remain hidden in plain sight. This is why the greatest misconceptions about ancient technology come from reading it through modern eyes. We see stones where they saw songs. We see symbols where they saw systems. We ask, how was this built? But forget to ask, why was it placed exactly here, with this form, this proportion, this frequency? Here lies the ultimate mystery. These civilizations may have known that the universe responds to consciousness. That matter is malleable. That intention, when aligned with natural law, can direct energy across dimensions. In other words, they didn't just use energy, they communed with it. So how can we, modern seekers in an age of noise, reclaim even a spark of this ancient mastery? The answer lies not in building pyramids or seeking lost crystals, but in realigning ourselves with the principles these civilizations lived by: resonance, intention, presence, and harmony. Begin with sound. Everything vibrates. Our thoughts, our cells, even our emotions are frequencies in motion. Chanting sacred syllables such as AUM, RA, or HU isn't about language. It's about tuning the body to cosmic rhythms. Try this. Each morning, before speaking a single word, sit in silence and hum. Let the vibration fill your skull, your chest, your spine. Feel it. This simple act can recalibrate your energy field, just as a temple's tone once charged the space within. Next, geometry. The ancients built with the golden ratio and the flower of life for a reason. These forms organize energy. You can apply this by surrounding yourself with sacred patterns through art, crystals, or spatial arrangement. Meditate with a Shri Yantra, or place objects in symmetry upon your altar or desk. Even aligning your environment with natural light and direction, the essence of Vastu or Feng Shui, can shift your energetic state dramatically. Then there's breath, the carrier of prana. Through practices like alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana, or breath retention, Kumbhaka, you can direct subtle energy through your internal channels, mirroring the flow once channeled through sacred architecture. The temple becomes your body, but perhaps the most profound tool is intention. Ancient energy systems were not activated through force, but through will, aligned with awareness. When you speak a word, perform a ritual, or even focus on healing, ask yourself, is my heart coherent with my mind? Am I in resonance with what I wish to manifest? If not, pause, align, then act. And beware the modern pitfall, seeking power without presence. Many lose their way chasing the illusion of control. The ancients knew true energy control comes not from domination, but from union. You do not command the forces, you become their vessel. You don't need a pyramid. You are the pyramid, the temple, the conductor. When you stand in stillness, with breath, intention, and resonance, you begin to remember. What we call ancient technology was never lost. It was simply encoded, hidden not in darkness, but in plain sight, awaiting the right eyes to see and the right hearts to remember. The ancients did not separate science from spirit, nor energy from consciousness. They understood that everything is vibration, and when you learn to tune yourself to the right frequency, you no longer chase power, you become it. Across the ruins of time, they left us clues, in stone, in myth, in symbol. Not to impress, but to initiate. The pyramid is not just a shape, it is a map of ascension. The chant is not just a sound, it is a bridge between realms. The temple is not just a place, it is a pattern, echoed in your breath, your spine, your very soul. You see, the real technology wasn't built outside of us. It was always within us. The Atlanteans, the sages of Kemet, the architects of Angkor, they were not gods. They were humans who remembered their connection to the infinite. And now, in this time of great forgetting, we are being called to remember again. So ask yourself, what are you resonating with? What structures are you building with your words, your thoughts, your actions? Are you simply existing, or are you becoming a living temple through which ancient energy flows again? The choice is no longer one of mystery, it is one of memory. If you felt something awaken within you during this journey, that's not coincidence, that's remembrance. Honor it, feed it, and walk forward, not just as a student of ancient wisdom, but as its embodiment. The age of forgotten technology is ending. The age of living energy has begun. And if you're ready to dive deeper, if you want to unlock more hidden truths encoded in time, subscribe, share this with fellow seekers, and leave a comment. What ancient power do you feel stirring within you? Until next time, remember, you are the technology. Now, activate it.